what do you remember about your involvement in This Is Elvis? How did that whole thing come about, and where were you in your life when that happened?
Well, This Is Elvis, I think the idea was Andrew Salt and his other producer partner, went to the Colonel and brought up this idea. So that's how it all started about. And they were really good guys, and they explained it all well, what they wanted to do. And what happened is that they hired me and Jerry as consultants on the whole documentary. So that's how it went. And I think they did a fabulous job. And people are still looking at it today. And and now that all those shots up in Elvis's bedroom, that is not supposed to happen. But we didn't know that, so we went up and shot that whole scene. And then after that, they said, "You guys weren't supposed to be up there." Well, it's a little late now. We didn't know that.
Right.
So that's the only video or film or anything like that ever taken up in Elvis's bedroom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad that that they allowed you to go. Were they trying to raise a stink, to get it out of the movie, out of the finished product?
No, not really. No, they thought it was fine. And, it was good. And no big deal. So it wasn't that long of the scene anyhow. So it was fine.
Yeah. So how did you feel, knowing that this was going to come, that this movie was coming up and everything? I mean, you were living in California at the time, right?
Oh yes, right. Jerry was too. Jerry Schilling was here too.
Right. And so
I just, I was very honored that they wanted us to be a consultant on it. And like I say, they're a real good couple of guys, and we knew we can get along great with them. And we just sat around, talked about different things, about everything, and that was it, man. We just were there for the whole thing, and it was amazing. Like I say, and the latest version they put out a couple of years ago, they extended some stuff in there. They made it a little longer than normal, but I'm very, very proud of it.
So when Colonel came up to you and said, "Okay, this is what we're thinking about doing and stuff," how did where did that take place? Did you get a phone call from them? I mean, did you guys meet and say, "Hey, let's do a project"? Or
I think we met together. We all did. We met with the guys, Andrew Salt and his other partner. We all met together, and the Colonel said these guys were going to be consultants on the show, and they were there. They know everything what happened. And so anything you get from them, it's got to be true. So that's the reason. That's why the Colonel wanted us to do it, because we knew everything that they would need to know. So that's why we did it.
Mm-hmm. And how long were you in Memphis for the shooting? I mean, what type of preparations did you have to make? Because you knew that it was going to be in a longer stay in Memphis. So what arrangements did you have to make, and how long were you in Memphis for?
We were only in Memphis for a couple of weeks, really, to do all the shooting there. And, so it was no big deal. I had no problem making arrangements to do that, because it was all pre-planned way ahead of time. So I knew we had to go there at that time. So they just set it all up, and we went there and did all the shooting like we did, just like to make a movie or something, same thing. Basically, I mean, it was a documentary. And that's what it was. I mean, naturally got cooperation from everybody. So I think that was real good. And hey, look at the movie.
Yeah. Well, did you have access to the dailies? Were you allowed to see them?
Well, not really, because we couldn't see them there. But we did come back here in Hollywood, and we did look at it here. So we did see it, but we didn't see it daily at that time, because everything was set in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. And when you were going through the movies, did you? What was your relationship with the person that portrayed Elvis?
The young kid was a real nice kid. He played young Elvis, and then the older Elvis. We had no problem with the guys. They were very, very nice. There's no two ways about it. So, they knew better. They knew they better be really nice, because he's working with us, and they could get fired real quick. Mm-hmm. So it worked out very well.
But how was the gentleman chosen to be to portray Elvis in that particular movie? How was that selection process handled?
Well, they did. They got certain recommendations from different people and stuff, and Andrew met them, and then Jerry and I met them, and we said, yeah, they seem like they'll fit the spot, and that's basically what it was.
Right.
Yeah, it worked out good. It was not a hard thing to shoot this movie at all. It was tough for Jerry and I because of flashbacks in our heads about different things like that. So that was tough. But we saw it was going to be a good project, and that's why I worked hard to get it right.
Yeah. So when you and Jerry were, reflecting back and everything, when the cameras were off, what were some of the feelings that both of you had, while you're walking and talking about some of the things? Because it wasn't too long after Elvis's passing when this was made.
Right. Well, it was tough, naturally. You got flashbacks walking along Graceland and stuff like that, and going to the graveyard where the grave was there. And it was tough. It hurt our feelings, but all I try to do is keep positive and think about a wonderful life he was, what a wonderful man that we had because of him, and so that's. That was good. We just thought of all the great times. We didn't try to think of the bad times when he passed away that day. So that's what it was.
And when you came back to Graceland, whenever you have lived in a place or have spent a lot of time in a particular place, you feel at home and you know where everything is, and you have a certain routines when you're in a certain house. When you came back this time, knowing that Elvis was no longer there, did it feel a little bit awkward now all of a sudden being in a formal, controlled type setting?
Yes, it was a little strange when I think about it. Yeah, we're making about a movie about my best friend that passed away, and that was very, very strange to do, but we wanted to do it right. That was the most important thing, and that's we try to work our heart out to make sure it comes right. And as we see it did. But yeah, it's not great times. Just thinking about all those years and all of a sudden he's gone. It was tough, very tough.
And when the movie was going on, Colonel Parker being in Graceland and everything there too. What were some of the thoughts that you guys shared? When behind the scenes of when the movie's being produced. What were his feelings towards the movie and that sort of a thing?
Well, the Colonel didn't hang out with us down in Memphis when we were making the movie. He wasn't around that much. He'd come in periodically once in a while, but he was happy about everything. We saw the footage and stuff like that. He was very happy with the whole thing, and I guess he left it all in our hands, and like I say, those guys did a great job, and he directed them the right way to how it really was, not just some story, and that's how it became so well.
Yeah. Now, what was the typical day like? You're flying into Memphis, you're back at Graceland. Where did you stay? When did your day start? That sort of thing.
We stayed at the Holiday Inn right down the street from Graceland. It's on the right side, going toward downtown. Right, just only about 4 blocks away. So stayed there, and we all had rooms there. And it was fine. It was okay. Like I say, all we did was go there and sleep. We were always too busy all day. And then we would hang out with Andrew and I forgot his partner's name, Malcolm Leo. That's his name, Malcolm Leo. And we used to hang out, have dinner together, and just talk about Elvis and all that stuff. And they got more ideas while we were talking, Jerry and I. And it was fun. We really had a good time doing it. We really did.
When did your days typically start? How much time did you actually spend on set in those 2 weeks?
Oh, every day. We shot everything every day. Not on the weekend. But we shot early in the morning till almost sunset. And that was it. Right. We shot inside. We didn't worry about the sunset. So,
right.
It was fine.
Yeah. Some of the horses were still at Graceland when the movie was being shot. Is that right?
Oh yeah. Rising Sun was there. Priscilla's horse was there. A lot of different horses were there. Yeah.
Okay. And,
Beautiful horses.
yeah, and what month of the year did this take place? Was it in the spring, summer?
No, I don't remember. I don't think it was the hot summertime. I think it was either spring or fall. Because it wasn't really, really hot. Otherwise, we would be in trouble shooting. So, I can't remember, to tell you the truth. How many years ago that is?
I can't go that high.
Well, this whole line's not working too well.
What about Priscilla when she saw when she saw the movie with you or discussed the movie with you? What were some of her feelings about it?
She was very happy with it. It was very good. It didn't show any bad things or anything like that. So it was. No, she was very happy with it. Definitely.
Yeah. So, you have Andrew Salt and Malcolm Leo. They come up with this idea. So, okay, let's do a documentary of Elvis, and working together with Colonel Parker. I mean, because Malcolm Leo, he's very intense, director, because he did, what was it, the Rolling Stones movie, remember? And Ultimate. And so, I mean, his intensity was already known that he was going to come up with something massive. And so, picking these guys, was a very big move. So, would you say that Colonel Parker was actually the driving force behind this particular movie? Was he the one who came up with it and say, okay, let's go to these guys and make a movie, or did Andrew Salt start the process?
Well, I think Colonel had the idea to do something like this, we got good information about these guys, and that's one of the reasons that we got a hold of them. So that's why we did it with them. And like I say, we could, how you can feel when you meet somebody that they're a good person and they got a good feelings and all that stuff, and
right. That's
the way it was with them all. They loved Elvis tremendously too. So they wanted to make sure it was done right. Yeah. And so Colonel liked the idea too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap on that particular thing, and let's talk about Martha. What are some of the newest updates you have on Martha?
Well, not too many new updates. She has to take all these medications every day, and she's been doing this for almost 90 days now. And last time we saw the doctor in New York, he said she seemed like she's doing pretty good, but he made some changes in some of the different medications. He got some lower milligrams on them and stuff like that. So the thing about this thing, it's not an easy thing to solve. It's a very, very tough one. And naturally, Martha's been very, very depressed because the doctor told her she probably had about 4 to 6 months to live. And naturally, that's going to depress the hell out of you anyhow. But he said, but the doctor said, listen, some people are told they're going to die in 3 weeks, and they're here 10, 20 years later. So it all depends on the person. And I said, Martha, there's a difference. That's why. It depends on the body. Your body's a good fighter. The first time you had the cancer in 2007, you beat it then. And everybody was so surprised at the way you put up with it. You were never sick with the chemo and all that stuff. So you got a strong body. So just keep that way. Keep thinking positive. So that's what I try to do every day. My son, Anthony, and I are with her all the time, and to make sure that she's feeling good about it. And that's the thing about it. But all we can do now is just keep fighting it. That's it. She exercises a lot. Anthony takes us to the pool. She does laps at the pool all the time. And she doesn't eat too much. That's the sad thing about it. She's down to about 103 pounds now. Mm. So that's a tough one. So all we can do is keep. That's all we can do, Daniel. What can I tell you?
Yeah. Well, I know that you have a lot of fan support, out there on the internet. Everybody's trying to help. I know that the rising cost of the medical bills and everything, it's a very big challenge. And, naturally, spending, time with your wife is really important, to keep her